Hey everyone, in this video let's solve another problem in the front end coding challenge that we are doing. Let's begin. So on checking what grid autoflow is, I don't think I have used it before. So there are 5 items in a grid container. Item 2 is yellow, item 3 is blue, 4 is red, and I'm guessing this one is item 1 and item 5. So item 4 grid column start 2 and item 4 is red, column start 2, grid row start 3. Okay, what I'm understanding is there are 4 rows, 2 columns, and in grid auto layout row we first start filling by row. So item 1 supposed to be on grid row start 3, so it is here. Then since now cell 0 is empty, we have put item 2 followed by item 3. Then why item 4 didn't come here? Okay, it's saying grid row start column start 2, that's why. Okay. Then 1 is here and now 5 is here. That means it's not that we are optimizing for the. Okay, it is not dense, maybe that's why. Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah, I thought why the item 5 didn't come here in row 1 column 0 if we are doing the 0 indexing here. But it only comes when it is dense. Okay, okay, it's fine. Default packing mode is sparse. Please create a function to illustrate how it works. Oh, default packing mode is sparse, it's not dense. The thing we discussed just now, how it works. So we need to implement layout function. It will accept rows and columns and items. Items are of type item, which has an ID and a style where they will start and okay. This is like what we had for item 1 here. Okay. Mm. It's written a grid of item ID. Use 0 if cell is not occupied. It's written a grid of item ID. I did grid of item ID. Oh, okay. Since each item has an ID and we are making a grid, which is an array of array, basically 2D array, we will return that. Okay. Implement the logic based on grid auto flow row. Okay. All inputs are valid in which there is no overlapping between the items and all items stay fully inside of the grid. All inputs are valid, okay, but it is not mentioned if an input is not valid, should we just escape it or should we try to do some changes on it? Okay, it's not clear. You can refer to the office algorithm explanation. Here are some examples you can understand it better. What is office algorithm explanation? Grid item placement was in the following grid item placement is also automatic. New rows of columns in the office is code. Integrates. Okay, here are some examples you can understand it better. We have 3 by 3 grid, 3 rows, 3 columns, ID1, ID2, grid column start, okay, span 2, grid column start, span 2, ID3, ID4. We have 5 items. First 2 items are spanning to 2 columns. Okay, so that's why uh, both the columns are occupied by item ID1 and it's blank, that's why 0. The same for 2, 2, then it's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, in the example, all items are auto placed. Okay, then grid column start. It's column start. Okay, 7. Grid row start 2. Uh, okay. Grid column start 2 and grid column and span 2. Okay. ID1 is row start 2. It is we are using basically we are starting index from 1 here. So row 2 is this one and spanning 2. Then it's grid column start 2 and column and span 2. Okay, then followed by team 3, 4, and 5. Now in the example first one. Okay, let's try to solve it. Seems to be an interesting problem to solve, but let's see if we can solve it or not. First thing I think we can do is maybe we can create our dummy grid with initialized JSON 0. Since we are using JS, I think we can do is let's see, grid is equal to new array of rows, and we will fill it with the new array of columns. Uh, yeah, it should be this only, I think, and fill 0. This should give us our grid initialized to 0. Now what we will do, we should or we can now start traversing on the item. I think first we will need to add some checks, or if item dot style. Okay, this is odd. It is mentioned it will be in style, but here it's directly coming on the item itself. Okay, it shows here as well. Mm-hmm. Grid row start. Mm-mm-mm. Maybe we can create an function handle grid row start, which will accept a value that could be a number or a string. Okay, okay, it's J, so we don't need to pass this thing. That is my bad. Now, first, I think we should put a check on the value itself. But what are we trying to do with it? Uh, let's see. Let's first try to do this one. Suppose we are given this one, we will traverse, we will get the grid column start as a span to. That means we have to start from column 1 and span it to two columns, means 1 and 2. So maybe first let's try solving it here only. We don't need to handle grid row start for this one. We don't need to handle grid row and for this one. For item dot grid column start, we will have to handle this thing. And first let column start value. Mm, item dot grid column start if type of column start equal to a string we will come in this block, and or else if since we are doing else if we can actually put an if here type of column start equal number. We are assuming, okay, not we are assuming, it's given it can be number or string. Okay, now since it's a string, we will have to split it. We can split it maybe. For now, I think I will assume the string will be always a span and a number. So span true mentioned. Okay. Since we are assuming that it will always span space and number, I think we can just skip the span part, and we can just take the column If all inputs are valid in which there is no overlap between the items. And grid column start value is split on space. Okay. Now the issue that we need to check is where to put this item ID in the our grid, because it is not like we can directly traverse from 0 and check the empty value and put it there. We will need a some kind of pointer on the current empty, on the next current cell that we can fill. Let's maintain that next cell to be filled. Let's start with 0 and okay. So basically, can we put it 0? If we are saying 0, that means row 0, column 0. If suppose we are saying 5, cell 5, that means row 1 and okay, no, cell 5. Okay, cell 5 will be this in our case, and we are starting with 0, and that means row 2 and column 3, and that will be confusing if I'm not wrong. So maybe next row to be filled and next column to be filled. Next column to be filled. Basically, we are now maintaining the cell index. It's 0, 0 and 0, 1, something like that. Okay. And we are on column value. It's span to column will move in the right direction, basically in this way. So we will span to whenever it is column and it is span, we can say that it will always be in the same row. That means first let's fill the okay. Let count, or instead of let count, maybe we can do while column start value, not column start value, it's column is greater than 0. Maybe we can put minus here only. So suppose column 2 means we have to span it to 2, then we will fill 2 cells, and since we are saying if it's column it will always be in the same row, then I think first thing we will have to put a check is on is if it's column. Okay, so we can't just like, if suppose we need to put 1 here, we can't just wrap it up. So one comes here and one in the next row. We need to put it in the same row itself. To do that, we will need to check the next column to be filled. If it's suppose, what I'm trying to say is, if columns, there are 3 columns minus next column to be filled is less than this column value. then we know it can't be filled. So we will just continue and we will skip this item because all items are valid in which there is no overlapping between the items, and all items stay fully inside the grid. It will, I think, violate this one. And but are we doing it correctly? Suppose we are here on next call to field 2, then 3 minus 2 will be 1. One space is left and column value 2, so it can't be filled to sleep. Okay, we are doing it right. Otherwise, what we will do, we will come here, grid next row to be filled. We will not increase it, we will not touch it basically because since we are spanning the call, so it will be in the same row, and we will put the item dot id there, and we will increase the next call. Okay, I think this should be good, and we will do the same if it's number. Okay, if it's number, then the only thing we have to do. Okay, this thing I think we can copy, and since we are saying if it's number, we can directly use this value. If it's not, okay, I think what we can do is basically we can move this out. We can remove this check, and we can basically, it's not column start. Okay, yeah, I think my bad. If it's string, it has to be this way because we are saying it's string. It will have span. But if it's a number, then that item should begin from that column. Basically, like this example, column start to this will affect many things. Not, I don't think it will affect many things. We just what we have to do is mm, okay. I think there is one thing I'm confused about is how to maintain the next call here. Suppose if we take this example, here we first filled these two columns. With this logic, the next row will have value 1 here and next column will have value 2 here. Now we came on ID 2. It started here, it ended here this way. Now next row to be filled will have okay, we'll have two value. We'll have one value actually because both the row, all the basically columns are filled in this row, and the only space. Okay, no, I think it's fine. Okay, it's fine. So basically, we will put a check here if type of column start is equal to number. That means column should be start from there. And since we are on row 0, I think we should again first do the check if column. No, no, we don't need to. We just have to check if that space is empty or not. So if grid we need to check for that column, and row can be this value same, but for the column start value, okay, now I think it is getting messy because we will have to check grid column and as well for the same ID basically. Okay, grid column start, grid column, and we have to consider that as well. I think this will be a moment. Okay, what are we doing wrong here? First of all, it is not zero indexed values. We will have to minus one here. Mm, mm, mm. I think we should maintain here column start and column end, or maybe reverse. Sorry, column start value, column end value, and what we can do here, change it to column start, and we can change the column start value here, column start to column, maybe better. We do here column start value and one. Okay, for now let's move this out and do like this. If it's number, we will directly column, column start. Column start. This will be column start. Okay, I think one more thing that we can say, if suppose grid column start is a string, and we are saying in string it will always have span, space and a number, then grid column and will not make any sense in that case, right? I think we can consider that. Okay, if it's a string, grid column start will be, this should be in grid column and in that case grid column and grid column start will be column start. Mm, 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 mm. I think since we are saying that if it's string, grid column and will not be present, I think we can just revert our changes. So maybe column again. and they should work. But if it's a number, in that case, we should put one more check here, I think. If next is equal to, since we are adding it, is greater than or equal to columns, we should, I think we can put this at the end as well after all these checks. Basically, if suppose next call is greater than or equal to columns count, that means we need to move on the next row. We will handle it later, okay? Now, since we are here and we don't need this again, okay, we don't need this. Now we are saying if it's a number, then there is a possibility that grid column and can be present. If it's a number, we can say that not maybe column start value is column start only. But in that case, if it's a number, we should check for item grid column and as well. And we will have to again do the checks, the same checks. Uh, const column and e- equal to item dot grid column and is it possible that grid column and exist and grid column start not? For now, we will skip that. We will say if grid column and will only exist if grid column start is there. Let's say item dot grid column and we will again do the checks type of grid column and equal string. Do this block else if type or maybe that just do else, not complicate things here. Since we are saying it will be a number, maybe just this thing. If it's a string, again we will split it, and this time we will say it column and value, and we will column and dot split, or maybe simply just take out the first value of the splitted or array. Again, should we do the check here? We have got column start value with us. No, we don't want. Is there no way to format it? No, it's not. I think reset record screen no Discord. Actually, I'm using it for the first time. I don't think there is a way to format this code. Hmm, okay, no issues. Okay, no issues. Okay, we will simply just say it is like that. Now, we have column start value, we have column end value. What we can do, we can take out the first, or since this column end value is also a span value, we will check if what we will check since we are saying span. Okay, I think what we can check is there are few checks we can do here. First is if column start value and plus column end value means the span value column we should not there Set column and column span value maybe because it's confusing. Span value is greater than or equal to columns. Basically, suppose if the column start is 3 here and column span is 4 or maybe 1, then 3 plus no 1 is fine, I think. Okay. I one thing we are not doing right is minus one thing. Especially in this case, we should do start minus 1 here. Yeah. So basically, if it's suppose it's two column, we are need to expand it to 1, then 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 there are 3 columns, so that could be fine. So if it is greater, we will just continue. We can't basically we will skip this. Or or if column we have column start value, column end value is a string, we have what we have. Or if grid column start value, I think this will go. Okay, now there is a check here. Suppose again we are on this. Suppose grid column start is 2 means the first column, if we are doing zero based indexing, we need to span it to 2. But suppose there is already an element here. Uh, there is an item here. In that case, this is an overlapping item and we will have to skip it. There is no overlap added to the item. That way we can like do all the checks here. And to do it, what we will have to do is, this is not an efficient, but I think what we can do is for that count is equal to 0, count is less than column span value, count plus, we will check if grid columns, okay, next row to be filled, this will be same, but it will have column start value, or should I think we should do it column start, that would be, or maybe count only, zero only, and we can do here is column start and plus count. If suppose the value is not zero, since we are initializing it zero, and if suppose value is not zero, that means it is already filled, and we should put a check here basically. Is overlapping false, we can turn it into is overlapping to true. We will break it and we will check. If is overlapping true, we will continue. Basically, skip this item. Okay. If it's not overlapping, if the column start plus column size is within the range, we can, I think, fill the item now. To do that, what we can do is we will have to do the same thing, and instead of this we will basically, instead of this as well, actually we can just put item item.id here. Okay, we it should work, I guess. And now suppose if column and is a number, so we will. I'm guessing the column and will have a valid value. I'm not doing a check on that if it's within the range or not. Or should we do it? Because then I think we will have to do it on all the values like column start. If it's a number and if it's a number and column start is also a number, then column start also a number. I think then one thing we will have to do is mm, this overlapping thing we will have to do in that as well. Maybe what we will need to do is suppose column start is 2, column end is 3. We will not check if it's within the range because we are assuming that grid column end will have a valid value in it. But we will have to check if it's overlapping or not, and if it's not, we will just fill the values out. So what we did here is okay. I think something is breaking or grid column and oh no, grid column and that is overlapping. And this time, what we will do is grid column, and we should start from. We are again. I'm assuming that grid column and will not have invalid values, and invalid values can be maybe a value greater than the number of column exists, or maybe the grid column and has a negative value, or maybe value less than grid column start because I'm assuming it will not have that value. We are saying we have to do a overlap check here. Suppose grid column is 2, grid column is 3, then if they are the grid already has values on the on those cells or not. If it has, that means we will have to skip this item. But to do that check, what we can do is basically I think we can start the column from grid column start. Mm, okay, it's a number column and it's a number, then that means we can. It's a number. That means first thing we should do is create the column and value grade column and -1. We will start with column start value. Since we are doing our lab check, we will column till its end value column start plus plus. We will check if the column is occupied. If it's a bracket, we will continue. Obviously, we will skip. If it's not occupied, we will fill the values. Um, we don't need these things. We don't need this. This will item.id. Okay, I think it should be good for the column now. If but suppose we have grid column start, we don't have grid column end. Okay, we don't have grid column, and in case of span it will work. We can just directly start from the next column to be filled. But if grid column start is a single value, there is no basically that means we need to do check on that value itself. If it's not, then we can do a check of if grid next row to be filled, column start value. If it's filled, we will continue. We will skip this item. But if it's not filled, we will grid next row to be filled, grid column start, and we will put the value item.id. Okay, this will handle this thing. If suppose grid column start is a number. Um, I think this, if suppose grid row is not present there. Okay. Oh, I think there is one issue here. Suppose we are running this, we are making this call. It will come here in its block. It's a string. It will split. Column is two, means we need to span two columns. Or maybe we can change this value to column span value just to make it clear. And suppose next one 0, it will have one value. Next it will not come here, it will come out. Now next item here, next item again is span 2, but and it's a string value, it will come here, but this time the next column to be filled is so basically first it will come here columns minus next call to be filled. I think we should remove this check first. Next call to be filled is 2 here. 3 minus 2 is 1, only 1 is space, and column space is 2. So ideally we should call on the next row itself. If next row to be filled plus 1 less than is less than mm, rows next row to be filled plus 1, and since we are on a new row, we should check the empty column in that one. So to do that, what we will do is for mm, let column is equal to 0, column less than columns, column plus mm, if grid next row to be filled column is equal to 0, that means empty. Next cell call to be filled will have value column, and we can break from here, and then it will again come here. It will fill out those values. Then suppose it's item id 3, none of the values are there, then it will basically come here. mm, and okay, okay, okay. Let's focus on this one. We have created a column start in this one, or this. Okay, and if it's suppose we don't have grid column start, in that case we will just, if grid column start is not present, we will gladly use the next row to be filled and the next column to be filled, and put the item dot id, and then we will do the checks for the next iteration. Suppose next column to be filled is greater than or equal to columns, that means we should update these values, and basically we will do the same thing here that we did here. Okay, so they should have, this is crazy, I don't have a formatting thing. Okay. Okay, so what we are doing is we are just finding the next column to be filled and returning it. Okay, this should work for the first example, I guess. It should work actually. If it's a string, it will come here. It will split the columns and it will check it's true. Columns minus, so 3 minus 0 less than true. No, 3 minus 0 is 3 less than 2. Condition false. It will not come here. It will span to next. It is 0. 1, it will end on 2, it will come on next again. Now it will check column minus next call, so it will check uh, 3 minus 2 is 1, 1 is less than 2, condition true. Now next raw plus 1 is less than, condition is true because it's 0 plus 1, it will be 1, and only the 0th element is 0 itself, so it will be 0. It will break from here, it will come here and put 2 to here. Now we don't have grid column start, so each time it will come here, it will put here, it will update the values. One, so basically this will work fine for the first example, and one way Maybe we can just run our code. Uh, okay, I will have to, I think, I'm not gonna sign up for now, so maybe one way we can do is copy this function. Uh, Maybe try doing this thing. Uh, and we can do is we can just basically I think call this. Sorry, we are not returning it from here, so return grid. Now let's copy it, uh, paste it, copy this. I'm not gonna sign up in the video right now. That's why I'm just doing it. Okay, cannot read properties of undefined reading zero. Now this is amazing. Reading zero, and why this could be happening. Mm, the come here. We are initializing it. It should have. Is this not the case? We can do this login. Mm, Create in grid. Let's copy it here. I just put it, erase it, call it again. Grid 3 is okay. Now this is crazy. Reading zero. Why it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 man? I'm not getting it. I'm filling it with zeros. Like it's the one value. And anyway, one more thing to notice. Why it is 5 items? I'm not getting why it is 5 items. The grid is 3. Each area has length 5. I think I'm doing. There's some mistake somewhere. Mm, mm, mm. This is a normal check. Okay. If it's not only that here, it will again a normal check. It's not never come as because it is always a string. Mm, mm, mm. And where is it happening? Line number 337. Mm, what could be wrong here? One is column start value. Mm, Sorry, column span value. Why is it happening? Is it because of this? But we are doing proper checks here. Mm, mm, mm. Sources. Let's create a. There should be one way to. No, not this thing. Mm, Space. This thing. Not open file. Uh, what could be the right way to test it if we want? Mm, we can't run it here. It is asking for for a login. And okay, suppose if it's line number 3, what is line number 88? Mm, 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 mm. Cannot get properties of undefined reading 0. Okay, I think one issue that could happen is next boundary field, suppose it's 2. Okay, suppose in case of ID 3, it is 2. We filled it, now it is 3. 3 is, this condition is true. Next column is 1. Oh, I think I got it. I'm not very sure, but what could happen? It's it will do only, right? Then we are doing tools, finding the next column. It's wrong. Maybe after each item, let's try printing the grid value. Grid item in, yeah, grid. Now let's copy it. Uh, Maybe I should do something about it. This copy part. Grid item in I issue is happening okay on ID 5, and there is one more issue. Why array is increasing? It is one. Uh, 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 okay, I think I got this right. It's 5 because of the bug itself. Item ID. These 1, 2, 3, 4 item ID. Okay. Grid column start. Grid column start has a string value. It will come here. We are splitting column start. Column span has value 2. Now we are doing 3 minus 0, 3 less than 2, condition false, it will not come here for the first item, then it will come here column span value. Okay, I think I got the issue if I'm not wrong. We need to convert this value to number. Mm, and now we are subtracting it, so 2 minus 1, it will be 0 first time, then 0 plus 1. But here why it's coming in next. That could be because of the issue. Then again it will come here. Then it, but that time column minus 1, 3 minus, it will have value 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 is less than 2. Condition will be true. Then it will come here next column. Other earlier it was at 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 is less than 3. Condition is true. Next row will be 1. We are finding the empty column in that. The first cell itself is empty. Next is 0. It will break. It will come out here. It will come out here. It will come here. It will fill out the values again. Will next column will have value 2. Row is 1. Next time it does not have this. It should come in this. Um, Next row is 1. It is 2. Empty. Okay, we are not checking for empty here, but it will work for this example. It will have value 3. Next column is now 3. 3 is less than equal to columns which is 3. True. Next column is 1. We are not doing check again here that if the next column is not valid, but in this case it will work. It will have value 2 this time. Finding the empty, the first one is empty, we will fill it. I think this should work. If that was the only issue, the conversion into number of the span value, we can just hmm, okay, what is the issue now? And I think right way we can print it as cannot read properties of undefined rating 0. Where are we reading value 0? And it is happening in the last call because the Grid item is in only 4 times, but ideally it should be fine. So in the last item, we are having issue, and it is happening because, and I think it is happening first of all it's happening because of the incorrect value filled because it should not come one on all the values, and why it is happening, but column start is to it's a string condition true. It is true, right? Then split on space. Yeah, split on space. Maybe let's do first few checks if we are doing it in right way or not. I think we split it. Yeah, and we are taking out first value, which is 2, converting into number. Column start is number. Then next column to default is 0. So 3 minus 0 is 3. 3 is less than 2. Condition false. Column 0. Okay, it should be let now. Hmm. See, this is what happens if you don't code in TypeScript. It's again wrong. And now why is it wrong? Now let's comment this code. We don't need, or maybe, yeah, just for now. Let's comment this code. Basically, the place where we were handling is what column, grid column start is a number. We are commenting that, we are putting that code in aside for a moment. We are just saying column start is an string. This is right. I dot. Yeah, it is correct. This should work, but why is it not working? Maybe when we are in each, we should print the values, I think. The idea should work, I think. Now we're not doing anything wrong. Can this thing, maybe just before we are starting new, we are checking for new item. Let's just print the values, what we values we have. Okay, and when we are maybe print item as well, which item we are dealing. Item.id, item.id, and the column is span. Let's just do this thing and check what are the what is happening basically in our code. And layout copy. Oh, now I understood what is the issue, man. Shit. If you check, we are using style here, but in our code, there's no way that we are doing that. Okay. Now let's check. Again, the same issue. Item ID1, we are starting with 0. Now item ID, we are starting with row 0, column 2, which is true, which is what it is supposed to be. But in this case, column span is 2, so 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 is less than 2, condition true. It will come here, increase row count, which is we can say is working fine in the next iteration. And then it should come here, it should find the next row is 1, so 1 and 0 equals 0 means second row, first column, which should be true, and if it's true, next column should have value column which is 0. It should break next column to be will again be 0, and will again 2, which is true. Then it will have value, this time it has value 2. Next column, now it will again come here, column start, this time we don't have this, so it will come here, it is value 2, which is wrong because we are on item 3, so at least the next column should have value as 2, but it is 4, which means something is wrong happening in this case. In this case, when we are coming here, 0 plus 1 is less than 2, condition true. Then it is value 1 because it is 1. But here next column to be filled is not getting 0 value. And why is it happening that next call to be filled is not getting 0 value? Because column 0, second row, what this will be? Okay. It's 3 by 3 0. So row 1, column 0 should be 0, so next one should have value 0, but it is getting value. For some reason it is not coming in here. Something wrong is happening. Let column equal 0, column is less than columns, which is there, column is not present before, column plus plus, grid, next row to be filled, column, checking for 0, it should be true, next column, assigning value, call, breaking, it should have value 0, now call is Spanish 2, it will run 2 times, next, mm, so, right, 0, next one. In for item ID 3, the next call should be 2, right? It is 4, and the only possible way it could happen is here, instead of getting value 0 at line 38, it is not coming here, and then we are just increasing it to 3 and 4. It is not even to, yeah, 2 and 3. It is not coming here for sure, but why it is not coming here? It is coming here for sure because next row is 1, but column 0, 0 less than 3, 0 plus plus. If grid next row value is 1, column 0 is equal 0, which should be true, but it is not true. That means before this, here it is not filled correctly. Only this can explain this thing. It is not filled correctly even though we started with 0 and 0, and it is 0 and 2 only. That means it didn't come here. Grid 0, 0 column 0, 0 row 0 column 0 row first column. Oh, why is it happening? Is it happening because we are doing plus plus early, but early it should not be an issue, right? Because we can do that. It is like this thing. This should not be an issue. Hmm, why it can be an issue that uh, sorry. Hmm, let's clear it, let's paste it, let's copy this thing, let's paste it in these things, and if we check now, uh, see, this is a mistake. What is 2 2? It is 2 2, that means, and next of it is 0. Okay, on 0 we have an even 0 is true. Something wrong is happening in this type itself. Here column start, it's string, we are splitting it, we are taking the first value which is 2, converting it to number, column is true. It was 2 previously, right? It should be 2. Then 3 minus 2, because number of columns are 3, it's 1. 1 is less than columns 1 value. True. 0. Next column is 0, 0 plus 1. Plus 1 plus row should be true. Then next 0 plus 1. Something else is happening here, but why it is not coming here? Is this not true? Because it should be. Why it is not true? It is true here. Next column is not getting value. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Now I got what is the issue. Holy shit. What is happening when we are initializing it like this? It is creating only one column and copying that column in all the 3 rows. And that is the reason of the issue. Holy shit. What ideally we should do is we should like we can create uh, then for let count or maybe let row is equal to 0, row less than rows, or row plus uh, grid row new array new array, okay, and new array columns fill 0. And if we check now, holy shit, holy crap, what we were thinking and what was the issue. Now if we copy it, see, we got the correct value. Holy shit. But thanks for watching this video till the end. Thanks for watching this video till the end. Till the end. If you liked it, consider sharing it with in your tech circle, so they could be aware of the demon, of the demon. Oh, sorry, of the demon new array of fill and new array. You can also like the video, comment thoughts, your thoughts down below, down below, and subscribe to the channel, so the video or so this kind of video reaches to more folks. Thank you.